Hey Chickadees, welcome to a new video. Today I wanted to show you my top 5 tips for buying craft supplies on eBay. I use eBay quite a lot. I really like the way it's laid out and the usability of it, and it's where I get most of my crafty stuff and a lot of my fabric as well. I find it's a really good place for things like silk organza and really fine linen. My first tip is to decide whether you are buying for a particular project or just to build your stash. I generally use it to build my stash. If you want to buy something for a particular project, I would suggest not being too specific in what you're looking for, because chances are you probably won't be able to find that exact thing. Particularly if it's, a particular colour and pattern of material. I would also suggest getting samples where you can. Sellers who are selling meterage generally mostly offer a sample service, and it's the same as you'd get on something like Minerva Crafts. It's about £1 for a sample. If you are choosing to use it for stash building, then I would say that job lots are your friend. You can get a lot of good kind of bargains and surprises when you buy job lots. To do this, all you do is you come up here into the search bar and you'd put what you want and then just job lot, and you get loads of searches. So this is for a fabric job lot, which isn't something I would suggest unless you're doing small crafts like maybe dolls or quilting or coasters and placemats and things like that, small things. But if you are dressmaking, I generally wouldn't recommend a fabric job lot. But you can find some good things, especially curtains. So if we scroll down here, there's this lovely 10 meters of this red damask design, and you get a lot of curtains and things as well. These look like crushed velvet curtains. So you can find a lot of good things, but for me personally, I wouldn't use it unless I specifically knew the fabric I wanted. So something like silk organza. But I do use job lots for my crafty things, so buttons and lace and trims and things like that. I would always suggest setting yourself a budget, because it can get quite expensive if you find a lot of things you like the look of. And what I generally do is I type in lace trim job lot like I've done here, and then I filter it by newly listed, because I check it every couple of days, and I always do it by newly listed so I can just see the newest ones that I haven't seen already. And I will just scroll down and I'll be looking at it. If I like the look of something just from the picture, I will open it in a new tab. I will then go through all the tabs and then pick the ones I'm interested in and close the ones I'm not interested in. And then if all of that fits within my budget, then I'll generally purchase it or place a bid on it, but I'll get to bids and things a bit later. Number 2, pictures. Not everyone that uses eBay is a professional photographer, and that's not always a bad thing. When I'm looking for a stash builder, I like to look for what I call a chaotic flat lay, and that is where the seller has put all of their items into particular piles and then laid them flat on a surface like a table or something here. So you can see pretty much everything that's available, and then some of them also do separate pictures of the items. That's what I generally do as well when I list something. And we'll just have a look at another one. So this is slightly, because they're all in bundles, it looks slightly more chaotic, but you can see everything that's in the listing. Now I have purchased listings that aren't separated like this. It's literally just all in one pile on a table. They've taken a photo of it and put it on eBay. I find that when I purchase listings like that, there's generally a lot of smaller lengths of trims, and you're less likely to find good bargains. But if you are doing small crafts like doll making, that would suit you well. Number 3, the description. I really like when the description tells a story. So when I have all the tabs open at the top here, I will look at the picture, and if I like the picture, I'll think great. And then I will scroll down to the description. And just like the pictures, a short description isn't a bad thing. But I like when it says, you know, the lace or the listing was found in someone's attic, or they're just getting rid of their stash or something like that. So this listing here says it was found in the workbox of a craft/dressmaker, and that kind of gives it a bit of personality. You think this trim was well looked after, maybe the person themselves got it for a bit of a bargain, and generally it will say it's in an unused condition or it's unused, which is something that is very positive and very attractive. So combining both the picture and the description, you can kind of get a good sense of whether it's going to be a good listing or not. If they have quite an in-depth description but maybe only one photo, that can still be a good listing. But if they have one photo and, you know, a couple of words description, that probably would be one that I would skip over. Number 4, look at the seller's other listings. Now, if the description says, you know, clearing out my stash or was found in the attic of a dressmaker or something, then there's a good chance that that seller is also listing other things. It might be some more stars of the thing you're looking at, so some more lace if you're looking for lace, or some different kind of buttons if you're looking at buttons. But it's always worth having a quick look at what else they're selling. So this person here is selling lace. Now they're selling lace in separate lots instead of one big job lot. But if we go on their profile and we go items for sale and we go sewing trimmings, we can see that they're selling lots of different kinds of lace. And I know that I've been on this one before, and I know they're also selling buttons. So it's always a good idea just to check the seller's other listing to see if there's anything else that you like the look of. Number 5, price per unit. What I mean by price per unit is either the price per meter if you're buying fabric or trims, or the price per weight if you're buying buttons. Some people do trims in weight as well, especially if they have a very large job lot, but generally buttons are done by weight. I would always suggest having a budget for price per unit, and obviously a budget for the whole stash if you're stash building. And you can kind of get a sense of what a normal price per meter is for a ribbon by going on Minerva Crafts or Calico Lane or something and seeing what their lace is. And generally it's between probably 20p on sale to £1 for something like crochet lace, which is generally a bit more expensive anyway. So once you've taken a note of that, go and have a look on your listing and kind of work out generally what the price per unit is. Now, the person might have measured everything. I have seen listings where they've put measurements in the photos, and sometimes they just don't. It's up to the seller whether they want to, you know, measure everything first and then put it in. And sometimes they will have it written in the title of over 60 meters or something like that. For a job lot of this size, my budget for the whole of it would probably be about £15. It looks like a decent amount of lace. These bundles look to be maybe 2 or 3 meters each, and there are, let me just count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I think I can count about 19 in there. So if they were all, let's say, 2 meters each, round it up to 20, so that's 40 meters. And this person's initial bid is £10. So that's 25p per metre, which is a very, very good starting price, and 2 metres is a conservative estimate. So that is a good price per metre. It's cheaper than you would find on Minerva Crafts, and you're going to get some surprises in there, some really nice, unusual lace. So that's something I would definitely maybe watch or put a bid on. So if we have a look at this listing, this has the amount in the title, so approximately 11.5 yards, and there's 14 pieces. That would work out about £1 a yard with this starting price, maybe a bit less. Now that's about a metre of each of these pieces, which, as I said earlier, is not something that is suitable for me as a dressmaker. I just couldn't get a project out of these pieces. So for me, that starting bid is too high, and this listing itself isn't suitable for me, because the price per unit is already starting at about 95p to £1, which is way above my price per unit budget. I would always suggest having a budget. It saves you a lot of trouble in the long run. And generally I also prefer to buy it now listings, because I feel I can keep a better track of how much I'm spending. And if you go up to a budget on your auction, if you really, really like that auction, you might be, or if you really, really like that listing, you may be tempted to go over your budget in competition with someone else, and it can get out of hand. So I prefer to use buy it now listings instead. Obviously that's not always feasible, and there will be times where you really like a listing and it's auction only, but just remember to keep within your budget. So those are my top 5 tips for buying crafty bits on eBay. If you have any other tips or tricks, let me know in the comments, and whilst you're down there, if you want to like and subscribe, that will be really, really helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!